Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me again. My name is Wilky and I'm finally here with my Doomblade PvP build. A short heads up beforehand though, the PvP or the dummy that you see in the resistance training grounds where I'm currently in does not behave like the players in PvP. So it's a very similar issue to what we had in C9, just much more severe, that you basically cannot really train any combos on this dummy. So anything I might talk about, you basically have to go to the arena and ask a friend or somebody to try and get that. Unless I figure out a way how to train combos without the actual PvP arena, this is just how it currently is. Anyways, this is just a quick overview of my PvP build and a few things. I'll try to cut this shorter than the PvE build, but yeah, let's just go straight ahead. First things first, I do have 16 skill points left because I'm still not fully sure on where to allocate those on the 4 last skills. But we'll go over that in a minute. So I don't think I have to talk about Piledriver, Doomraiser, or Cursed Drinker. These are pretty much self-explanatory and definitely a must-take. Dark Slash is the first one. We definitely max that one for PvP as well. The reason for that being it's one of your main damaging skills. Believe it or not, it does around, I'd say, 600 to 700 damage if you land all hits. And given the fact that this skill has a 3-second cooldown, almost no mana cost, it's a very good juggle skill. You can combo with it very easily. You do have to take that skill or your combo damage is gonna drastically fall off. So definitely max the skill and try to get used to chain your combos with both of your dash attack and your Dark Slash. Phantom Cross, this is utility for PvP. All this skill is basically used for is for distant clips. It does knock down in PvP, so if you're quick enough and you land the hit and you are able to gap close and follow up, for example, with a cutting wave or something, you can start comboing afterwards. But generally, damage of the skill is insanely low in PvP, and it's just a utility skill, so don't put any more skill points into that. Cutting wave, this is probably the main difference between PvP and PvE. Because this skill in PvP, even if you maxed it, it does like 50 to 60 damage per hit for me. It's absolutely not worth it to dump so many skill points into that skill. You're not going to be dealing damage with that skill. This skill is good for a multitude of things, which is basically gap closing, a lot of mobility. You can use it to move around insanely quick, as well as sometimes even initiating a combo after a dash attack. If the enemy is not having an ultra state, you can clip them and open for combo. And you can also use it to connect certain combos, but definitely its utility, do not max it. Deadly Draw, I don't think I have to explain anything, one of the hardest hitting skills as for PvP as well. So definitely max that skill. Can also be used in combos or as a combo starter. Definite max. Dancing Shadows, similar to Phantom Cross, it's just a utility skill. It does not deal a lot of damage. It pokes a bit, but that's really all about this skill does. It doesn't knock down in PvP, so it just is a combo extender or just a range poke to stun the enemy or like to stagger them and then follow up, for example, with a cutting wave. Do not max the skill for PvP. You're not going to be dealing a lot of damage with it. The skill points are better allocated elsewhere. Oblivion, very good combo skill. Deals a good amount of damage, so definite max for PvP. Purgatory Wave, similar to Dancing Shadows. The other thing about this skill is, though, that it penetrates or pierces walls and everything. So you can clip people through walls and obstacles in certain maps. But still, the damage is not going to be great, and most of the times, you're not going to be using a full charged one. You're going to be using a quick one, mostly after Dancing Shadows or something, to poke the enemy. It is a good setup because it staggers the enemy, but in terms of damage and the reason to put skill points into, I don't think there are any, to be perfectly honest with you. Soul Vortex, definite max. Also one of your most useful combo skills, enabled to allow you to chain a lot of skills together and definitely take that skill. The damage is going to help. Soul Steal, this is one of the main differences that I had between my old PvE build and PvP. Soul Steal is one of your most powerful abilities in PvP. It's kind of tricky to set up, so you do have to make sure you're knowing when to use it. For example, when the enemy is staggered in Oblivion, Like, if the enemy is in Oblivion, you can go for it. Or obviously out of Soul Vortex you can also do that. And things like that. But generally, there's one other use for PvP, and that is you do have an Ultra State. So you can potentially... Wait, I was too far away. You can drag people in it and then just slap them. If they don't have an Ultra Break ready or any sort of iframe to get away from it, you can also use it that way. But generally, I'd recommend using it mid-combo after Oblivion or Soul Vortex. But it hits a lot, and it is a very powerful skill for PvP. Spectral Assault, a very useful skill. I did showcase the two uses. The first one is if you just press it once, and then again, you'll use the dash. You can actually use that to catch people off guard. Like, for example, Lips. Stop moving. Like, you can use that to catch people off guard if they don't expect you to come around dashing with that around a corner or something. The X or cross slash at the end has an ultra break on it, and yourself, you also have an ultra state, so this is a very good approach. And the other thing is just holding the button where Spectral Assault is on, and you're instantly going to be using the cross slash. Deals considerable amount of damage in PvP, can be used as a combo connector, but also a very good opener, and very good to break enemy ultra state because it's very, very quick if you just hold it. Spirit Barrage, while I do not really like it in PvE, for PvP it can be used in combos. It can also be used as a sort of trap around corners. If you peek around corners or the enemy is trying to engage, you can always set the skill up. Keep in mind, you also have an ultra state, so you can potentially also use this to dodge or ultra through enemy attacks that aren't break. Six Blade Leap, definitely max it because it does deal a considerable amount of damage for PvP as well. Good utility, as I said, a lot of people forget that it has an ultra break, so it's very, very good of that. Main use for me is either in a combo, or what I like to do is something like that. And that is I guess, very easy setup. First of all, you're gonna get back attacks, and second of all, the enemy cannot really do anything against it. So if you get close and you do land your cutting wave, just pressing Six Blade Leap is gonna score some back attacks. Very, very good damage, and very sleek use. The other usage of it is obviously to use the iframe to dodge certain skills, or to go from ultra into dodge, or to try... If you use Curse Drinker, for example, to iframe through something and the enemy is trying to set up a trap, you can try to use Six Blade Leap. Chances are, if the trap is set up well, you're not going to be able to chain into your new iframe, so keep that in mind. Ghost Blast, very, very, very powerful skill in PvP. Insanely long cooldown though, mana cost is also heavy. What I recommend using is only the first two blows, so just tap it once and leave it at that. The reason is, in PvP, if you hit somebody with Ghost Blast, they're gonna be falling to the ground for a good 1 or 2 seconds, so you have plenty of time to combo. And most of the times, if you start pulling them, you do not know if you're actually in range for the third slash, so it might be that you actually pull them behind you. It does not actually happen in PvE as it seems, so I cannot really showcase what I mean. But generally, sometimes in PvP, if you start pulling people with a Ghost Blast, they might end up behind you, and if you then use the third slash, you might actually miss your chance for combo. So unless you can absolutely make sure that you will hit the third slash, I only recommend using the first 2 hits, because they will also deal a tremendous amount of damage, and they will allow you to freely initiate in any combo whatsoever afterwards. Shadow Stride, the reason why I maxed it is it's pretty much the hardest hitting skill you have for PvP. Cooldown is 30 seconds, but mana cost is okay, and you can also use this mid combo similar to Soul Steal after Oblivion, Soul Vortex, or even after dash attack. Keep in mind it can also be used to clip people, because it has a relatively good distance to it. So I definitely recommend maxing or putting 2 levels in that skill. That's the only thing you can really do. As I said, it's the hardest hitting skill other than our ultimate draw in PvP. So I definitely recommend using that and maxing it and trying to use it. Now, ultimate draw, originally I did not want to take that skill, because I did not know about two things. First of all, the range on that skill is super big. So I'd say, I'm not sure, but I assume I'm gonna hit the enemy from here. Like, it's a bit of deceptive range, but it is a very, very long range. I did actually hit him from over here. So just to give you an idea on how big the range actually is of that skill, because that's something I cannot cover with one cutting wave. As you can see, this is a relatively long distance. The other thing is, time sort of goes into slow motion, so you can actually set the skill up. There's two ways I'd personally like to use this skill. The first thing you have to know is that when you pop ultimate draw, the time is going to be slowed down for the enemy. So when the enemy is using a multi-hit skill or is trying to set up something, or even better, is already in your combo, for example, like Oblivion. So what you can then do is, for example, if you pop Oblivion, you're just going to use ultimate draw, and since the time is going to be slowed down, the enemy is not going to be able to stand up or get out of the combo before you actually hit the ultimate draw. The only downside is ultimate draw, I don't know how much mana it costs, 300. It's even more expensive than Ghost Blast is. It has a 180 second cooldown. So they're probably only going to be using it once in PvP. And as I said, it has a specific setup that is not that easy to use. And really, this is something you just have to get used to. It's kind of hard because this skill has such a long cooldown, so it's very easy to whiff it. And obviously, if the enemy is aware of it, they might actually try to bait it out. But definitely, this skill is a lot more useful in PvP than I originally thought it is. So I definitely recommend to take it. Now, there are a few things. A lot of people that came from the C servers recommended taking, for example, uppercut and lunge for the ultra state and combo skills. I personally don't feel like we need it as a Doomblade. There might be uses for it, but honestly, the combo game is relatively simple right now, so I don't think we need those. So the only reason I see you would take those skills personally would be for the ultra state, but that's just a personal choice. I think as a Doomblade we have a lot of mobility through cutting wave, and we do have a bunch of other tools to actually keep ourselves protected. So I personally do not feel like we need those skills. However, if you want to try it out, or if you think like, well, this is my playstyle, then go ahead of it. Anyways, this is pretty much my skill build. I will just leave this open at the end, so for those of you who did not want to watch it, you can just jump to the end. As I said, 16 skill points left. I assume it's going to be going into Purgatory Wave, but as I said, right now I'm not too sure where to allocate those skill points at. Anyways, this is my PvP build. As I said, I will follow up with a maybe instruction video on setups. Then there's a couple things I learned about Doomblade in general. And yeah, there's plenty other videos that will follow up in the future, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you have any other questions or anything else you want to know, feel free to hit me up, and I'll gladly provide an answer. That is all for today. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time.